This video will be an overview of Hadrian's Wall. In this game, you're using your resources to fill out tracks across 2 different game sheets. These tracks give you more resources or points as you progress, and after 6 rounds you tally up your points. The main source of adversity in this game is not only limited resources over a fixed number of rounds, but increasingly strong attacks against your cohort tracks. At the end of each round, you draw cards to see where the picks attack. These are compared to your cohorts and can give you points if you successfully defend, or give you negative points if you don't have enough defense. So over the course of the game, you're trying to be efficient with resources to gain points, while also building up enough defense to not be deducted points at the end of each round. We can first look at the different resources. Stone is used as a general resource for constructing the wall and buildings. Servants are used in the mining and foresting track to increase stone production. Soldiers are used to increase the wall guard track. Builders are used to increase the fort track, and citizens are used to increase the citizen tracks on the right-hand sheet. In general, you can score points from building the wall, defending against picked attacks, constructing buildings, and completing the citizen tracks. There are 4 point tracks on the left sheet where you can increase your point totals: Renown, Piety, Valor, and Discipline. In general, you get Renown by building things, Piety comes from interacting with the Priest's track, Valor comes from defending against the picks at the end of each round, and Discipline comes from the wall guard and cohorts. There are other ways of getting each type of points scattered around the game sheets. Let's take a closer look at the left game sheet. You can use builders or soldiers to increase your fort level. Usually you want to use builders just because the wall guard is only accessible through soldiers, but there's also some flexibility in using soldiers to build the fort as well. The chains that connect the wall sections tell you where you can increase the wall tracks, so you have to increase the fort track to get access to the higher parts of the wall track. Whenever you cross off the red cohort symbol, you can increase the cohort track, which defends against the picks. In general, you want to be increasing your cohorts as much as possible to keep up with the picked attacks. As you increase the fort level, you also get access to the hotel, workshop, and road. These are ways of trading one-time resource costs for passive resource gain. The hotel gives you an extra citizen each round, the workshop gives you an extra builder each round, and the road gives you an extra point each round. You can build large versions of each type to get additional resources passively. The earlier you build these, the more value you get out of them. If we look at the citizen tracks on the right game sheet, there are plenty of opportunities to obtain a variety of points and resources. As you fill up the tracks, you can get more workers of different kinds, as well as unlock interaction with the other track-specific buildings. The traders give you access to the precincts, which is an additional way of increasing stone production, and the market, which uses stone for renown points. The performers track lets you build the theater, which lets you use stone to increase the citizen tracks and score a point. The ludus gladiatoris lets you use citizens or servants for points. This conceptually, I think, is the inverse of the traders. The priest track is the primary way to gain piety. You gain access to the temples, which, fully filled, gives you 10 piety and 3 favor, which can be used to avoid negative points from disdain if you don't have enough defense against picked attacks. You also can build the gardens, which are efficient ways of increasing the citizen tracks. The apertores track gives you builders, soldiers, and discipline. You get access to the baths, which you can use to remove disdain, and the courthouse, which gives you access to extra workers. Finally, the patricians tax give you stone and soldiers. Diplomats can be used to bolster your cohorts, and scouts can give you extra stone and valor. Hopefully that gives you a general idea of the player sheets. The final thing to talk about are the path cards, which gives you extra points based on certain conditions. For example, you could score 3 points for filling out all 3 sections of your wall. You get 6 path cards that have a maximum of 3 points each. 18 points is a good chunk of points, so aligning your actions with the path cards are a good way to give you goals to work towards. After all of that, we can talk about strategy. The wall is important to build out so you don't get negative points from disdain. Defending against the picks gives you points, and the wall is a great way to get more citizens. It also gives you access to the hotel, workshop, and road, which I think are also easy ways to increase your passive production. The earlier, the better. Considering the citizen tracks themselves, the apertores gives you extra access to builders and soldiers. The baths shouldn't be necessary if you're keeping your cohorts at appropriate levels, and I think there are better uses for your stone. The courthouse is fine. It can combo well into filling out your temples, but I also feel like I want to use my stone for other things in the first half of the game. The patricians area is a good alternative way of using your soldiers. I find I almost never have enough soldiers to fill out all 3 sections of the wall guard, and the extra stone from the scouts are put to good use in the walls. The extra valor leads to more soldiers, which can lead to more stone and valor with the scouts. I almost never use the diplomats since they're kind of pricey for favors that can only be used once, and I shouldn't need them if I'm increasing my cohorts. The priest track is useful for getting more servants to either increase stone production or fill out the temples. The temple should be viewed more as a way to get points than for their favor. Although the favor is the nice bonus, but the points ultimately are what matter. I also really like building the gardens since they are such an efficient way of increasing the citizen tracks. The traders and performers are somewhat unique in that their tracks are relatively empty compared to the other three. You go up on them primarily to gain access to their buildings. I really like the precincts and market. Precincts give you more stone production at the cost of citizens. You can use the stone to build more of the wall to get more citizens back. The extra stone also helps you get points in the market. Similar to the temples, you can get 10 points if you get all the unique numbers in the market. I personally don't like the Ludus Gladiatoris. The Gladiatoris building is really pricey. It's 2 servants, a citizen, and 2 stone just to build the thing. Then you have to trade in extra guys to train the gladiators. And on top of that, there's randomness that can kill your gladiators early and end your interaction with them. Ideally, you want to be getting 2 glory per battle, but it's just a lot of investment for non-guaranteed returns. Compare this to the medium temple, where you're paying 5 guys and 2 stone for 4 points and a favor, more points and piety on the priest tracks, and you get access to the gardens. The theater is fine. Each level of the theater is kind of like trading a stone for a point and a meeple, but going up on the performers track isn't worth all that much to me. I'd rather spend the stone to construct an earlier road or hotel. The first round, I usually like to try to get 2 in mining, 3 on the wall guard, and 4 on the fort and wall to get 1 in each cohort. Alternatively, I'll get 2 in the cohorts and build a hotel on turn 1. I'm usually going up on the patricians and appretories early, just because of the access to builders, soldiers, and stone, then more in traders and priests on round 2. I'm looking to heavily invest in the precincts and market, and want to build the hotel, workshop, and road when they become available. I'm looking for path cards that align with these strategies, like the wall or scout columns. All of this together gets you high in renown. Past 15 points, the points tracks gives you a reward every 2 spaces instead of 3, so the game rewards you for focusing on specific tracks instead of trying to keep everything equal. The landmark associated with renown gets you more valor, and valor can be increased through the patricians and filling out your cohorts. Although increasing the fort level is important, there's a risk of building it too fast. I've been in situations where I have only a few spaces left by the end of round 5, and then on round 6 I have an excess of builders and not enough stone to use the builders on landmarks or other buildings. At the risk of greatly oversimplifying the game, I think the game hinges almost entirely on stone production. While I wouldn't recommend overinvesting in stone production too early and neglecting other things, most of my best games have had smooth transitions into precincts for extra production. Remember that the end goal is points, so although it might be attractive to build as many things as possible, try to keep in mind how much value you're going to be getting out of it. There are many strategies and routes to scoring points, and the game encourages trying out new things on multiple playthroughs, so see what works for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.